It's my honor to. Okay, do we have Bhushan Prabha Mataji? They are sponsoring today's Sunday feast. So let's chant one time Hare Krishna Mahamantra from bottom of heart to invoke the choicest message of Kiratan Bhagavati and yet Kripa and express because gratitude is amazing. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Hare. Thank you. Upcoming events, right? What's the biggest event that we are going to celebrate in 2 weeks from now? Sri Krishna Janmashtami. Right? We have amazing festivities planned. It's a 3-day festival. Janmashtami is actually on Monday, 26th. We have festivities on 24th, 25th, and there are amazing festivities planned. There are a lot of kids, drama, dance, special competition, quiz, Rangoli, also with a village being planned, amazing prashadam, food stalls, and pizza, burger, dosa, chaat, vada, biryani, just to name it, right? So please spread the word, invite your friends, family, also to celebrate the festivities and something. So to involve the holy day, this is our golden opportunity. And also there is supreme Lord for all the things that we have learned. Right? So there are different details that's being circulated, and also we put together simultaneous because there are a lot of festivities and a lot of volunteer opportunities that we have. Everyone can volunteer. Mataji's, Prabhuji, college kids, high school, you can always get the volunteer hours. You can definitely get the form filled and get you the official form for volunteer that you can submit to your assessment or you need. So we would be sharing this link very soon, today itself. But just to show, there are different slots available. Just to name few, we have pot washing, which happen in the kitchen under the guidance of Krishna Kumar Prabhu. Then we have the options are available Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Then we have site setup, kitchen seva, kitchen preparation, prashadam serve out, and also we'll have a parking support and also welcome. A couple of spots are being added right now, but still there are lots of opportunities right now that you can sign. And it just takes literally less than 30 seconds to sign. Right? So it's very easy, very quick. So that way we can, arrange the festivities in more structure. Also, we will be celebrating a week from now. So details are being finalized and all the details will be circulated on WhatsApp group. Also, if you have noticed outside, we have started Sunday school registration. Right, it's Gopal Garden School, starting from age 4 all the way to 15. Right, so if you know anyone, your kids, and if you know anyone, please register. Actually, Ramani also is leading the Sunday school effort with all different teachers and the team. So many things going on. So please mark your calendar, and if you have not booked the office for next Monday, you also Janmashtami Monday and Tuesday, please, if you have not done, please do so. It's amazing information. Okay, I know you're not gathered to hear me, so let's welcome today's Sunday theme speaker. His grace, Kadam Karan. He don't need an introduction. Prabhuji is part of the congregation for a long time. Just for my purification, Prabhuji started spiritual journey about 28 years back. Right? He's well versed Shastra. He's initiated last more than 20 years. He's preacher. He's pujari. He's Sunday school teacher. He taught Sunday school as well. He coordinated various drama activities. He's part of the management team. He's a, we have a council of management. He's part of very active, very valuable member of the team. He's birthday coordinator. He announces everyone's birthday and notify what of his heart. He's a spiritual leader. He is welcome team leader. He's supporting temple in all different aspects. Any services that we see, he is involved one way or another. He's amazing devotee, well versed in Shastra, very dear friend in the lives to many, very personal. He's so senior, but still, if anyone approaches him at any level, he comes down to their level and helps them, whether it's materially, spiritually, or any kind of guidance. The material also is very well qualified. He's a therapist. So materially as well as spiritually, he is very qualified, and it's an honor to welcome His Grace Karan Prabhu on Vyasasana. And he can now be chanting. Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol. His Grace Karan Prabhu ki.
Come a little bit forward. Thank you. Come a little bit forward, please. There's a lot of room. Please come. Is there anyone who is not part of ISKCON communication group, IFH communication group in WhatsApp? This is like a change.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. On behalf of ISKCON Farmington Hills, we are very happy to welcome you all for this Sunday feast program. This happens every Sunday from 12 to 2. We start with bhajans and kirtan from 12 o'clock. We have Tulsi Arati, Guru Puja, Brahma Samhita recitation, followed by an amazing kirtan and Ashtinga prayers. Then we have a short Bhagavad Gita class, followed by a sumptuous lunch prasad. This is our every Sunday's schedule. So now we are in this part of Sunday feast class now on Bhagavad Gita. We'll begin with Kirtan. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Giri. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Radha Gopri Vallabha, Radha Gopri Vallabha, Radhe. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. We will begin with invocation prayers. These prayers are chanted before any spiritual activity to invoke blessings from our spiritual master and our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada and all the previous Acharyas and our supreme lordships. Please join together. Hope you can read. It's so small. Please excuse me. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Vishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Tadati Swapadantikam Vande Shri Guru Shri Padakamal Shri Guru Vaishnavascha Shri Rupam Sarvajatan Sahagana Raghunathan Vidam Tam Sajeevam Sadvaitam Savadudam Parijana Sahidam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vidamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Adhitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Charine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshakarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gauravanda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Om Tadara, spiritual master, open my eyes with the touch of knowledge. I offer my sincere obeisances and thanks to divine. I sincerely seek the blessings of all the assembled devotees and my Siksha Guru, His Grace Yugal Kishore Prabhuji, to empower me to speak appropriately and inspire. Thank you. Please make yourself comfortable. There's a Bhagavad Gita class now, so you can find a place to sit. I request devotees to move a little forward, so at the back when devotees come, it will be helpful for them. Thank you all so much for being here. I'm very grateful for this opportunity. Let us begin with today's topic. I'll let you know in a minute. What is this? Striking a real balance in life. Striking balance is one thing, but we are going to talk about what is the real balance in life. Okay. So let's start with something interesting. What is this? Can someone read? Does anyone know the significance of this particular date? I'm sorry, you all are, I shouldn't say sorry. I'm very grateful that you all are remembering Prabhupada all the time. Thank you so much. Very grateful. But unfortunately, this is not later there. This date, I'll tell you, in the history of television, this was the date there was no news. Can you believe? In BBC, this particular date, April 18, 1930, around 8:45, evening bulletin, news bulletin. Usually it is about 15 minutes. The news anchor came and said, there is no news today. Then they started playing piano for 15 minutes. Really? Thank God there was no WhatsApp or social media those days. If it was, absolutely not possible at all, because there is always abundance of negative news. If you see any news, 90% negative news, 5% positive news, and another 5% useless news. You understand what I'm saying? That is how most of the news are. So it is kind of almost impossible to recreate the same day, isn't it? In this world, there is enough news, actually. If I ask you what is the news today, at least say what is going on in the world, I'm sure everybody can speak at least 15 minutes comfortably. Can talk about this war, this one, that one. And at this time, so much chaos is going on in Bangladesh. So let us remember those of our brothers and sisters who are going through so much of atrocities in Bangladesh. So let us chant one Maha Mantra with deep devotion and heart. Let us pray to the Lordships for their protection. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare. Thank you all. See, I was just talking about there is so much chaos going on in the world all the time, practically in every country, right? Those countries which we thought they were very developed, very comfortable countries like United Kingdom, there is violence, riots. 100,000 people joined together, right? So it's happening all over the world. So once a person came to a sage and he said, in my life, there are so many problems, actually. So I'm not able to focus. Then the sage said, you know what? There is a wonderful scripture known as Bhagavad Gita. And Krishna has given ultimate instructions for, leading a wonderful life. So can you start practicing? Then he said, but oh sage, there are so many problems in my life. How can I focus? So many problems. How can I focus? Then he was trying to explain. See, in this world, there is always enough problems. So, but still, one must not forget what is our purpose of life. The goal of human life is not to keep on dealing with all these things, keep on making money, keep on accumulating things. The goal of human life is self-realization. What is self-realization? To understand who we are, more importantly, to understand who God is, the Supreme Lord Krishna is, and what is our relationship and how to attain Him. But this man again said, but there are so many problems. Oh, is that so? Okay, do me a favor. I will answer this question again tomorrow morning. I have a Goshala and we have about 100 cows. So what do? You go there and make all the cows sit down and then you go to bed. Is that okay? Is it okay? It's not a big deal. Let me go there. Little did he know, in Goshala, he was trying to make all the cows sit down. When he was trying to make cows sit down on this side, that side they stood up. And he went there and back side they stood up. So it went on the whole night, he was just making them sit down. And next day morning, by the time he was so tired, it became morning. He came to the sage with kind of sullen eyes. Oh sage, Just my pronouns. The sage said, okay, so did you have a good night's sleep? What? Good night's sleep? I didn't even close my eyes for a minute. What happened? Because you told me to make all the cows sit down. So I was trying to make all the cows sit down. When I was trying to make this cow sit down, that one was standing up. Then I went there, this one was standing up. So I couldn't handle it. I kept on doing it. I didn't have time to sleep. So exactly the same. Life also, when you try to solve this problem, something else pops up. And when you try to solve that problem, something else pops up. So if you keep on trying to solve these problems and not focusing your real goal, like this, you will not be able to be at peace. See, you didn't even take rest. So understand what is important. That means you need to know how to prioritize things in life. Does that make sense? Prioritization is very, very important. We all know, actually speaking, if you ask anyone, even people, typically hardcore materialistic also, if you ask them, are you happy? Yes, of course, I'm happy. Everything is perfect in life. Is life tough? Then the next question will also say, yes, it's tough. If you say in Bhagavad Gita, in the 8th chapter, what is the title of the 8th chapter 8? Attaining the Supreme. Thank you, Prabhuji. Attaining the Supreme. In that 15th verse, very famous verse. Anyone knows 8:15? Ma upetya punarjanma dukkhalayam ashasvatam. That is a perfect definition for material world. You cannot find any other definition for this. What is dukkhalayam? Dukkha means miseries. Alayam means place. Ashasvatam means temporary. And he has given a very clear definition about this material world. This place is full of miseries and it is temporary. The relieving thing is temporary. Just imagine. Dukkhalayam Shaswatam. Be like, Krishna, what is this? See, he has given a very nice definition. That means this place will be like this, a nature. It's like sugar will always remain sweet. If it is not sweet, if it is salty, it will not be called as sugar. It is called as salt. Does that make sense? So Krishna has given very clear definition. You see the chapter's title, Attaining the Supreme. In that particular verse, Krishna says, any persons, who properly follow my instructions, he will leave this material world and come back to my supreme abode. He says it very clearly. First of all, Krishna actually tells us we cannot find amazing scriptures such as Bhagavad Gita anywhere in the world. See, this is the first self-help seminar, and Krishna is the first motivational speaker or a life coach. We all know what is life coach, right? And you can never imagine a dramatic situation like this, where there is an intense war. One side, there are 2.5 million people, Kaurava side. This side, 1.5 million people on Pandava side. So what is the difference? Tigers, math tigers. 1 million. So that side is more. Kaurava side is more. So how many people total? 4 million people there in Kurukshetra. And they are about to. It's a do or die battle. It's not like you press a button, missile goes, so you wait for the next one, watching TV. No, it's all hand-to-hand combat. They fight literally. So it is only 2 options, maybe 3 options. Either do or die or hurt, severely hurt, like this one. So in that situation, when Arjuna was so bewildered, and the symptoms of extreme stress is clearly mentioned in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. You know what is severe stress? We can see from there. So he said, I'm not able to fight. My lips are dry, my mouth is dry, my lips are quivering, my hands are trembling. I cannot do anything. My mind is fully reeling. So he kept the Kandiba down. And then he immediately asked for help. Very important, right? When we cannot deal things by ourselves, we better ask. That applies to children also, right? In school, we keep telling them, asking help is an important social skill. So Arjuna did ask for help when Krishna spoke. Krishna, he did not have an AC room where it is comfortable, make people sit and provide breakfast, lunch, dinner, to have a seminar on Bhagavad Gita. It was in the battlefield. Without previous preparation or PowerPoint, he did impromptu. 1.5 hours done. Succinct. That means we can understand, right, how important each word would be. Because it's an intense situation. So every word of Bhagavad Gita is very useful, very beneficial to human race. So with that understanding, we will try to understand what is striking real balance in life, a real balance of life based on Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So once Srila Prabhupada, he was actually going along with devotees in car. At that time, they saw a road sign because when there is a construction, I used to be in Canada. So they say a joke. In Canada, there are 4 seasons: cold, very cold, extremely cold, and construction period. The summer, it's construction time. So most of the summer goes in construction. So it was a construction area, and there was a sign like this. Can anyone read? What does it say? For permanent improvements. Looks very positive, right? So, and this temporary inconvenience, they say temporary, but most of the time it is like sometimes 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Interesting. They are temporaries. And Prabhupada immediately, he heartily laughed. And you know what he said? Actually, that is temporary improvements, but permanent inconveniences. That's what we've been seeing. Every improvement in technology is causing a permanent damage. Does that make sense? See, Prabhupada is super genius. This was said 50 years ago when there was no cell phone at all. See, every year, every cell phone company will make an update, right? And does that update really help you in any ways? Many times I can tell you honestly, whatever phones you have, Android, whatever it is, you may be using only 15% of the utilities. Rest of them we don't even know. Why? Because we don't read the manual. Anyway, that is not so much important. But for life, this manual of life, Bhagavad Gita, is very, very important. Otherwise, we will also be in the cycle of kept on making improvements, temporary improvements, but causing permanent inconveniences. That's what Prahlad Maharaj says in Srimad Bhagavatam. Many times the solutions we create for material problems becomes a bigger problem than the solution. Right? We all heard this many, many times. I really like this example. Who knows what is cobra effect is? Has anyone heard of the word cobra effect? It's a very important management principle. How many of you know? Please raise your hand if you know cobra effect. No? See, cobra effect is the real thing. In India in the 90s, when it was under British rule, in Delhi area, there were so many cobra, snakes. You know cobra, right? Poisonous, isn't it? You cannot keep that as a pet. So, they wanted to get rid of the snakes. So, they made an announcement. Whoever brings the head of the cobra will get a bounty. Means, prize money. And so, I sincerely seek your blessings, Prabhuji. Thank you. So, whoever brings the head of the cobra will get a bounty, prize money. So, we all like that, isn't it? And there is a reward. So, people started, looking for cobra and cut the head of the cobra and bring it to the British government and get money. And there are some very intelligent people. Generally, people of Indian origin are very intelligent, isn't it? So they said, you just need, cobra head so we can get money. So we'll make a cobra farm. We will breed cobras and we'll cut the head and bring it to the British government and get money. British government initially was happy. A lot of cobra head is coming. So that means cobras are, getting killed, so many. But little did they realize that people are coming with so many cobra heads and they are getting so much money from the government. Then they wanted to investigate what's going on. Then they realized these people are actually breeding cobras in cobra farms. Say, this is not going to work, man. They said, no more bounty for cobra heads. Then what happened? When we know something is useless, we won't value it anymore. So they open all the cobras in the field. So previously there were less cobras. Now there are much more, like few times much more than what it was earlier. That is known as cobra effect. This is a perfect example for what Prahlad Maharaj says. Many times the solution to the material problems gives more problem. Does that make sense? This is one of the management principles they call it as. So every management principle is taken from Bhagavad Gita, from Bhagavatam. You can clearly, bring the root and an example for that. I can tell you, and that is the truth. So let us try to understand. So there is a constant struggle, everyone wants to avoid misery and get some pleasure or some happiness. That is exactly like on a boat in a rough sea. The sea is very rough. And we are told, you stand up and then try to balance. Keep yourself upright. How easy it is? Comfortable, right? How many of you, rode in a bus, where you didn't have even a space to hold, bar or something? It's very hard. You'll be keep wandering around. That happens for Mumbai, could be local trains. The same thing. Many times you cannot even hold anything. You're just at the mercy of everyone. When the train station comes, you just need to push your body in, somebody will throw you out. And when you want to get in, somebody will push you in. So the point here is, it's very difficult to balance, first of all, on a boat, in a water, and that too, the sea is very rough. Exactly the same way here. But can someone read this?
We are living in a dynamic world, so much chaos around, and therefore it is extremely difficult to strike a balance. But it is very important to strike a balance.
Does everyone agree with this statement? Yes, there is chaos, we understand. But it is very important for us to understand the importance of having a balance. Okay, let's understand what's balance. Anyone? What is balance? I'm not talking about the balance in which we use measurements, not that balance in the stores. What is exactly balance we think about? Yes. Perfect. Yes. You're there. It's basically a condition in which different elements are equal or in correct proportions. You want to make sure that things are in correct proportion and it is balanced. Right? Okay. Very interesting question. Okay. Which is heavier, 1 kilo iron or 1 kilo cotton swabs? Anyone? Both are same? Absolutely. Thank you. But which is difficult to carry, 5 kilo iron or 5 kilo cotton swabs? Why, Prabhuji?
Too much
Quantity, right? First we said it's the same, but second, when it becomes like handling, things are different, right? So it is not like equal, like 50% here, 50% there. No. 50% materialized, 50% spirit. Not like that. The balance is exactly keeping the goal first and then balance everything else. You understand? What is our goal? Just like in the example we gave, goal is to stand straight and balance accordingly. Does that make sense? So balance is not 50-50 or equal proportion. Sometimes it may require, according to the time, place and circumstances, some can be 80%, some can be 20%. But the important thing is bringing harmony, stability, and equilibrium. Does that make sense? It's a loaded word. All these words, harmony, very important. When we are balancing, the result is there is harmony in family, in personal health, and also in the society, in temple, wherever we are. And there is stability, which is very important. Balance has to bring to this. Bring forward this and equilibrium. Right? So let's try to understand what are the balances we need in our life. There are 3 balances we need: physical balance, mental balance, and spiritual balance. Spiritual balance, we know, is based on the soul. Mental balance is all about the mind. And physical balance is all about the body. You heard this? Body, mind, and soul. All these 3 things has to be balanced. Many times, we are all aware, being in this world, being part of WhatsApp and Facebook, we all are aware how to take care of the body, right? I'm sure at least one message will come every day to take care of the body for a good health. And interestingly, all the messages are different. If you see, this one will say, this particular herb, if you take, you will not have any problem. And another person will say, you take this fruit every day, 3 times, 4 times, you will not have something like that. So many messages. And we get bewildered. It is better to have less options, right? See, those days, when you have 4 or 5 shirts, it's easy to pick one. 50 shirts, which one should I take? More. So, too many messages, too much information. So, let's try to understand. Physical balance, we'll spend less time on it. Physical balance, we all know in Ayurveda there are 3 doshas, right? What are the 3 doshas in Ayurveda? Kapha, Vata, Pitta. And they say it has to be balanced, isn't it? In such a way that your health is taken care. We all aware. And similarly, there are 5 pranas. There is pranayam to balance out everything so that we can have a good So it's basically asanas and pranayama to take care of the body. And of course, regular workouts, which is all essential, which we know how many times to do, what not to do. So the solution Krishna gives how to do very succinctly in 6:17. Let's try to understand that. See, it's a beautiful verse. Yuktahara viharasya yukta chetasya karmaso yukta swapna vabodhasya yogo bhagavati dukkha. Can someone read the translation, please?
He who is regulated in his habits of eating, sleeping, recreation, and work can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system.
That's it. When we take care of this eating, sleeping, recreation, work, yukta ahar, yukta means regulated. You see, this yukta word is coming practically in every. Krishna says, don't miss this word, regulated. That's very important. Eating, we know, but regulated eating and viharasya, recreation, right? Recreation. So that also has to be yukta viharasya. And yukta chetasya karmasu. Chetasya means basically what is required for maintenance. Karmasu is action. What is basically required to maintain? That kind of work we are talking about. And yukta swapna bodhasya. Swapna is dream. Abodhasya is wakefulness. So both, sleeping and wakefulness stage, both. And Krishna says anyone who regulates these four habits, eating, sleeping, recreation, and work, can mitigate all the material pains. You see the word? Krishna is very clear in what he says. He chooses the word. And Prabhupada's translation is absolutely brilliant in every verse. Clearly says all material pains by practicing the yoga system. You see this word yoga in practically in whatever we are discussing today. So basically, we saw about physical balance. So physical balance is all about taking care of these four things. Do we need to go a little more detail into it? We know what to eat, right? What to eat? Prasad. That's very important. If it is not prasadam, then the trouble starts. So if you want to be really free from, first we should start eating prasadam. And that also has to be regulated. And sleeping. Today morning, Yugal Kishore Prabhuji gave an amazing class. If you missed it, you really missed it. It was a super inspiring class. So if possible, please go back and hear. So in that also, Prabhuji was mentioning sleeping early and waking up early, the importance of it. And many things. So, and then what is the recreation? We know whatever we don't allow our children to watch, that means it's not good. Simple, isn't it? It is like they say, right? If you want to know which neighborhood is good, just look for where there are more Indians. The neighborhood will be good. The school system will be good because they have done all the research. You just go. Correct? Similarly, whatever you don't let your children do, that means it's not good. Correct? Does it make sense? So whatever we don't let them drink, we don't let them do unnecessary things, that means it's not good. Very simple to understand. And work. Very clearly, again and again, we've been kind of brainwashed that we need to work so hard in such a way that you get worn out, fried out, and you don't even enjoy. Or you don't even relish what you have. 8 hours of working is enough, sufficient. And many things we have heard, right? Some things are predetermined, not everything. Among them is how much wealth a person can have. So 8 hours, if you organize, do a quality work, that's good enough. So let's move on with the next one. Is that okay so far, physical balance? Any violent objections? So, from Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, we understand this. The cause of unhappiness is identifying ourselves with the body. This is the first instruction Krishna gave in the second chapter. For almost like more than 20 verses, Krishna is repeating the same thing. If somebody gives Bhagavad Gita class on every verse, for 20 weeks, they'll be talking same thing. We are not this body. The soul is permanent like this. Krishna gave so much importance because that doesn't get in our mind. We always identify our body. So that is the root cause. And the second problem is uncontrolled mind. That brings us to the second aspect, mental balance. So mental balance is very important. And Krishna in the beginning itself, second chapter itself, he says, can someone read that translation? Thank you, Mataji. So again, Krishna brings the word yoga in every aspect, important aspect. So first one, we saw physical balance, also yoga. Second one also yoga here. And here he's saying abandoning. Just push away all the attachment to success and failure. Basically, he's saying control your mind. And further, when he goes to the 6th chapter, what is the title of the 6th chapter? Dhyana Yoga. In that, when he talks about mind, the very famous verse, Chanchalam he mana Krishna pramati balavadridam. What is the next word? Manye vayo ivasu duskaram. Amazing words. You see, Krishna uses basically 4 adjectives for the mind. What are the 4 adjectives? Chanchalam, restless, very flickering. And then pramati, agitating, turbulent it is. And what is balavad? Strong. And dridam, obstinate. So that's the nature of the mind. Somebody asks, how is your mind? Pramati, balavad, dridam, chanchalam. That is basically definition of everyone's mind. So, and when Arjuna says to Krishna, Krishna, I'm comfortable in controlling hurricanes, the wind, powerful wind also, but not this fellow mind. Can you understand? I used to live in Florida for 9 years. Every hurricane, we get panic. Some hurricanes, they say, get out of Florida. The Florida governor will say, if you insist to stay back in Florida, don't call us. Don't call us. Because when you call, the frontline workers have to go and they will be in trouble because of your audacity. So don't call us. So that is what is the situation. Florida is every year hurricane comes. Interesting. So the point here is, Arjuna is saying, I can control that, but not my mind. That says it all, isn't it? That says it all. So in the very next verse, see Krishna's reply, such a beautiful reply, very nice verse. He says, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Samshayam Mahabaho Mano Durnigraham Chalam. The important words are Abhyasena tu Kaunteya Vairagyena Chatyate. 2 solutions. What are the 2 solutions? Somebody read translation, please.
Lord said, O mighty our son of Kunti, it is undoubtedly difficult to trust the restless mind, but it is possible by suitable practice and by detachment.
Wonderful, thank you. So 2, words are very important. Which one? Suitable practice and detachment. Abhyasa is suitable practice and detachment, vairagya. If you see, both are opposite. It's like do's and don'ts. Suitable practice, that is do's. What you need to do. Vairagya, give up some things. Correct? There is always like the do's and don'ts are there everywhere. Just like driving a car. Right? There are do's and don'ts. So, it is very important for us to understand this. Can anyone say what is the most important principles in devotional service, bhakti, or most important instruction the Supreme Lord has given? Just one phrase, which is considered the ultimatum. Chaitanya Charitamrita says that, like in the Sanatan Shiksha, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches amazing teachings to Sanatan Goswami, and that this particular verse comes. Does anyone know what is that? The highest instruction. What is the highest instruction? Always remember Krishna and never. That is the ultimate instruction. In fact, it says further, this verse is very beautiful. Smratavya satatam Vishnur vismartavyo na jatuche. You see the next line. Sarve vidhi nisheda. Vidhi means do's, rules. Nisheda means prohibitions, not to do. And he says, Etayor eva kinkaraha. This is the highest. This is the king of all instruction. Rest of them are servants of this. So what is the highest instruction is? Always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. That is the word. So if you see here, similar, right? See, always remember Krishna. Isn't that enough? Why never forget Krishna? If you're always remembering Krishna, you're not forgetting Krishna, isn't it? But why does Lord has to say redundantly? That means repeatedly. It's basically the same thing, isn't it? Never forget Krishna. That means always remember Krishna, isn't it? Vishnu Chakravarti, he gives us an amazing example because this instruction is there for everybody. And people like us who are neophytes, beginning in devotional life, when somebody says, you need to always remember Krishna. Hey, how can I remember Krishna? I need to go to work, I need to do this, I need to do this. How can I remember? Isn't it? This is one of the common questions we ask. How to remember Krishna always? It is possible. Prabhupada gave brilliant examples many times. All of us comb our hair, right? Before going to office, set ourselves right. And we are aware that we are presentable. Isn't it? We know that actually. Even though we don't have to keep on taking a comb and set our hair, but we are aware. Whenever there is little dishevel, we just go fix it up, isn't it? Right? So similarly, this is a crude example. Similarly, you can also remember Krishna in every aspect, and there are so many ways you can increase the remembrance. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad, he says, see, it is brilliantly given by the Lord, so that everyone, doesn't matter whether they are just starting today or been there for long, he is giving the point, say that he is telling what are the activities we need to do and what are the activities we should not do. Basically, the important angas of Sharanagati, surrender. What is that? Anukulyasya sankalpaha pratikulasya varjanam. Anukulasya sankalpa means accepting what is favorable, and the important thing is also rejecting what is unfavorable. So that is the point he is bringing, that Krishna is giving, now Mahaprabhu is giving, these are the activities one must do. That is trying to remember Krishna. So you have to do activities in such a way that you remember Krishna throughout the day. Does that make sense? Then you should also avoid those activities which will make you forget Krishna. So now does that make sense? So both are important. So suitable practice, we are going to discuss. If we see controlling the mind, actually speaking, can we control our mind? No. We can only positively engage our mind in Krishna consciousness. If we try to control the mind, it is almost impossible. When Arjuna cannot, who are we? Correct? When such a celebrated warrior, Arjuna did not get tempted even by Urvashi. When Indra said, you can have Urvashi, said, I don't want it. Such a mind control. And that personality is saying, I cannot control. Then who are we? So basically, controlling mind means we engage our mind. Right? Savai Mana Krishna Padaravindayor. Every senses, including mind, must be engaged in Krishna service. Then it is possible to control the mind. Is that clear so far? So if you see the word yoga everywhere, right? Okay, now Krishna in the same chapter, beginning to this, very nice, the same 6th chapter, Dhyana Yoga, he says, Yoginam api sarvesham mat gade nantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yoma same yukta tamomata. What an amazing, somebody please read the translation. Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nicely, Krishna says, of all the yogas, Krishna talks about 4 yoga processes, right? Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. See, Krishna has talked about Bhakti Yoga. What is that chapter number for Bhakti Yoga in Bhagavad Gita? 12, right? But this is 6th chapter. Krishna very clearly saying, of all the yogas, Bhakti Yoga is the most important. And he gives a kind of prelude for that. So he says 2 things. One who always abides in me and always thinks of me. With what? With faith. With great, he's not saying ordinary faith, great faith. Anyone with great faith who always abides in me and thinks of me within himself and render transcendental loving service. The word bhaja means love and also service. See, that's why this translation we will never see anywhere other than ISKCON, other than Krishna consciousness. The word bhakti is always translated as devotional service. Otherwise, generally we say bhakti means devotion, but it is always together. Love means a service. Something like, I go to my spouse every day and say, I love you so much, I love you so much, I love you so much, but don't do anything. 4th, 5th day, she will say, stop saying this I love you business. Do something productively. Correct? Simple. So love means service together. Transcendental loving service. Is that clear so far? So always thinking of me, abiding in me, and performing devotional service. With what? With great faith. And Krishna says that person is most intimately. See, the word intimate itself is intimate, correct? Very close. When you say most intimate, super close to me. Amazing, isn't it? Krishna is saying he's super close to me in yoga and he's the highest of all. Oh, move. I request everyone to please move forward. Both Matajis and Prabhujis, please move forward so that, when devotees, they can find place to sit down. Please come forward. Sorry for the temporary inconvenience, for the permanent improvements. Please come forward, please. Matajis too, please come forward. Thank you. Is that clear so far, where we are? So that person is the highest of all. So if you are a devotee, you are in top number 1. I'm not saying it. Supreme person is saying that anyone chants Hare Krishna, he's saying he's most intimately united. Amazing, right? Such a great reward. Back. Okay. Now let's talk about the spiritual balance. So we spoke about physical, mental, and the spiritual balance. Yugal Kishore Prabhuji, a few weeks back, he very nicely explained this. If we take care of these 5 things in our life, sadhana, sadachar, satsang, sastrapatan, seva, then your spiritual life is well balanced. Okay, let's try to understand what is sadhana. Sadhana means practice, correct? Sadachar is, anyone? Behavior, Vaishnava behavior, yes, good behavior. Satsang is association. Sat means good, that is important, right? Good association is very important. And sastrapatan, shastra is, sorry, I couldn't put that, that hyphen on top. It's not Sastrapatan. Sastra means weapons. Shastrapatan, okay? Means reading scriptures, holy books. And then seva. Right? What is seva? Service. We are not talking about job. That's why there are different words for job and service. So, sadhana. We know what is sadhana, right? Every spiritual path has a spiritual practice. You cannot escape. That is very important. Sadhana is very important. Only because of sadhana, you can perfect your life. Just like driving a car. When you drive a car, initially, your dad won't give you, take this car and enjoy. First of all, he'll put you on a driving school. And understand, if your driving instructor is your spouse, you're finished. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. Either husband or wife, that will be the most painful experience to learn car. Correct? But if it is a teacher, at least he'll tell you, don't do this, don't press on the brake. Don't press on the accelerator when you have to stop. So these things. So first we need to go through this instruction classes, we need to give a written exam. That practice is essential. Right? So everything requires practice. Whatever profession you are, you went through education. So in spiritual life, that sadhana is not just for a short period. Because you don't go to driving school for 10 years. If not, good luck to you. See, you just go for a short period and then give it up, then you get. But whereas spirituality, it is an ongoing process. Why? Because it is dynamic. It is very dynamic. Just like the world is always dynamic. Like your field, if you're an IT professional, you need to always update yourself. You cannot say that I learned C++ some 25 years ago, I'm done with it. No, right? You keep updating yourself. So many certificates. I'm not an IT. Please excuse me if I said a wrong example. You need to keep updating, isn't it? So you need to be dynamic. If somebody doesn't update, that person is not considered effective, especially at the time of appraisal, isn't it? Make sense so far? So that is very important. So what is sadhana and spiritual life? What we've been told sadhana is? Anyone? Devotees? What is the prime most important thing in sadhana? Chanting what? Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna. Hare Today morning class, Prabhuji gave brilliant strategies for better chanting. If you want to know, please listen to the class. Amazing tips. We need to know, all of us need to know. So that is the prime most thing. See, let's read this verse, translation. Can anyone read the translation? A very important verse. Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. Can anyone read the translation, please?
The holy name It bestows all spiritual benedictions. For it is Krishna himself, the reservoir of all pleasure. Krishna's name is complete, and it is the form of all transcendental willows. It is not a material name under any condition, and it is no less powerful than Krishna himself. Since Krishna's name is not contaminated by the material qualities, there is no question of its being involved with Maya. Krishna's name is always liberated and spiritual. It is never conditioned by the laws of material nature. This is because the name of Krishna and Krishna himself are identical. CC Madhya 17.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Just a quick question. How many of you recently heard the pastime of Ajamil? Thank you. Many times what happens, we don't repeat the pastimes because we think that everybody knows the Ajamil pastime, right? Can any children can narrate the pastime so quickly? I think Srihari was there. Go ahead. Srihari, you want to say Ajamil's pastime? What did he do? Somebody, can you pass the mic to him? Can you say? You know who is Ajamil? What did he do? He was a Brahmin. What did he do after that? Hmm. Hmm. Mm-hmm. That's okay. No problem. That is somewhere Bharat Maharaj has come into the picture. No problem. But he got distracted, right? After that, he can't hold the mic. He got distracted. So because of that, he gave up everything and he became a robber, murderer, rapist. All the crimes he started committing, right? Ajamil. And then he married that prostitute and he had several children. And he named the last children as Narayan. Does anyone know how did he get the name Narayan? There is another episode. It's given by one devotee, you know, Lomasha Rishi, very great Rishi. You need to know about him. The personality is, his body is full of hair. And interestingly, he will lose each hair only during each kalpa. We'll talk about what is kalpa is. It's practically billions of years. In billions of years, he will lose one hair. Once Indradev, he actually built a huge, magnificent palace. Lord Indra, the king of heavens. And he wanted to build a palace in such a way that the world has never seen a palace like that. So the palace he was constructing by Vishwakarma, it took a few years. He wanted to get certified by a great personality. So he asked Narada Muni, so how do I do this? Like I want to get this certified by a great personality. He said, call Lomasha Rishi. Because he lived for so long. His body is full of hairs and he loses one hair each kalpa. That is billions of years, he loses one hair. And this Lomasha Rishi came, you know, and he was carrying Kamandalu and he was carrying a mat. Mat, you know, what is a mat? For sitting mat. So he was coming with mat and Kamandalu. So Indra was surprised. And he didn't ask anything because he's a great Rishi. He said, oh Rishi, please see my palace. He saw the palace. Then he didn't say anything. And then Indra was little curious. He said, Rishi, can I ask you a question? Why do you carry this Kamandalu and the mat? Kamandalu, you understand. Why mat? He said, you know what? This material world is very temporary. And we all live for a very short time. And who is saying it? Lomasha Rishi. And his body is full of hair. And each hair will fall in billions of years. How many zeros per billion? Can you imagine? And that person is saying, this world is very temporary. And material life is very temporary. So it is not worth building something. So I take this mat. So wherever I go, I just need this for my, you know, shelter. That's all. So this Lomasha Rishi, once he had a, no, Indra got the lesson. That's more important. Indra understood the lesson. You know, what is more important in life? Not the material accumulations. The spiritual accumulations. Prabhuji always say the spiritual bank account is the everlasting and beneficial, most beneficial. So that's what we need to work on, importantly. So Lomasha Rishi, once he had an itch, so he went and asked a sage what to do. He said, you need to go and take food in the most sinful person's house. At that time, who was having the award of having most sinful life? Ajamil. So he went to Ajamil's house. At that time, Ajamil was on duty. So he went away, killing people, doing something. So at that time, he asked Ajamil's wife, you know, the Rishi came Because of Vedic culture, they had respect for Rishi and said, what can I do for you? The Rishi said, I want to eat. Are you sure you want to eat in our house? He said, of course. Then he ate. Then after leaving, he said, bye, thank you so much. Then while coming out the house for few yards, then he realized, I ate their food. I should at least be grateful, right? Do something. Then he came back and said, I want to tell you something important which you may not understand, but please do. Please name your children. His child is Narayan. He said and went. And that was a simple instruction. So when Ajamil came, he was told, this is what happened. Lomasha Rishi came and he told to keep this name of the son as Narayan. He said, of course, we can keep. He's a great Rishi. Then Narayan name was kept. And you know what happened? Because of the name Narayan, Ajamil got a second chance. He was saved from the Yamadutas. Simple as that is the power of sages, great sages. Okay, we went far away. Let's come back. That is the power of the holy name. Ajamil's pastime gives us the hope. Even if somebody chants once, they get the utmost benefit. What if somebody chants regularly? Right? When somebody holds 1 million, he's a millionaire. More millions, multi-millionaire. More millions, billionaire. More multi-billionaire. Goes on, right? That's how we should aspire. And always think about chanting in that way. So first one, we talked about sadhana, then sadachar. Very important. Today morning class, Prabhuji spoke about, today also, yesterday evening also. Sadachar, Vaishnava behavior. There is no substitute for Vaishnava good behavior. Very important. Because just let us understand, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne, Brahmane Sani, Sunicheva Svabhakecha, Pandita Samadarshana. A person learned, who is well learned, he sees an elephant, a dog eater, and a Brahmana take vision. Do you understand? He is saying everyone to see with the equal vision. But if we don't see devotees with equal vision, how can we call ourselves as a scholar? Forget about scholar. How can we call ourselves as a human, first of all? So Krishna expects us to see everyone with the equal vision. That means you need to have respect. How can we see somebody with equal respect? Only if we have respect, then we can have equal vision. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say? Otherwise, we'll say, I am better than you, I am better than this. That's what comes in, isn't it? If I think I am better than you, I cannot have respect. Does that make sense? So respect is essential. So among devotees, respecting each other and harmoniously serving together. The cooperation is the most important key. That's why, what is Prabhupada's last instruction? Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhupada said, love for me will be shown by how you cooperate. It's very important how we cooperate. Cooperate. Many times what we think is, oh, there is some problems in the devotee community, so I'll stay away. That is not the point. That is the most unfortunate situation if somebody goes away from devotee association. The most unfortunate situation for anybody's life is to leave devotee association and think that I can do myself. It is a big illusion. Big illusion. So, cooperate. Janmashtami is coming. Sri Gopal Prabhuji, he actually put up the sign of genius. And he said there are so many services available. Pot washing, welcome team, shoe stall, and whatever Prabhuji, whatever he has mentioned. So many services are available. And we can, take part in all the services and cooperatively serve. In that way, we will please Srila Prabhupada. If Srila Prabhupada is pleased, who is pleased? Gopijana Vallabha, Radha Gopijana, they are ultimately pleased. By cooperatively serving, we will achieve that. It is not that difficult. Only thing is, we need to have that ingredient, humility and respect. So our Vaishnava behavior, humility and respect is important. When you think about Lomasha Rishi, his life, right? What is our life? Maximum 70, 80 years. That itself should bring us to humility, right? That itself will bring us that our life is simply insignificant comparatively. Jai Shri Shri Radha Gopijana Vallabha Bhagavan ki Jai. Jai Patita Pavan Gaur Hari ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So satsang we already discussed. Good association. Good association is the key for success in spiritual life. We all need good association. When we say our children, we need to associate, with people who have good behaviors and good grades. Why? Because we want them to be good. When that applies for children, same thing applies here. We want, we should associate with only devotees if possible. Rest of them, you give association. Does that make a difference? Taking association means you're getting inspired, getting influenced. Give association means you help them to see anyone who's been chanting for many years, their productivity in work will be really super. Their focus is amazing. People will come and ask, how come you're doing so well? There is a time and opportunity to share. This is the practice I follow. I chant every day. I come to temple, I come to ISKCON temple, and I read every day Bhagavad Gita. And I come to take association from the devotees. You're sharing, isn't it? So, good association is a very important. Anshastra Patan. I remember Prabhuji once said, Ilksha Prabhuji said, if somebody doesn't read every day, eventually they'll be depressed. It's a very important thing. And if somebody doesn't read every day, they will start speculating. That was the key statement. It was very striking for me to understand. Yes, if we don't read every day, Srila Prabhupada's books, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and all these important books, we'll start speculating things. So it is our responsibility to find a balance to read on a regular basis. And seva, which we discussed, seva is always available. You just need to open your heart. I need a seva. We have devotees here, who are from different departments. They can engage you very productively in the seva. And as I said earlier, please sign up. Prabhuji will be sending sign-up genius in groups. Please sign up as many services you can. The Janmashtami comes only once a year. And that is the birthday of our Supreme Lord. Even on our birthday, we are super happy, right? Whatever somebody asks that day, we will take it. But imagine the Supreme Lord on his birthday, whatever spiritual desires, whatever desires you have, he will immediately grant you. For that, we please by seva. How? In the mood of cooperation. Does it make sense? So all these things, 5 things we need to balance. So this is the important thing. Can someone read? We'll quickly finish it.
Despite all the superficial chaos, we can understand from Bhagavad Gita that there is a supreme order, sublime plan, and transcendental purpose, and that is Krishna's plan for us to become pure devotees and escape from this material world and go back to spiritual world to be with Krishna eternally. In his pastime, that is the ultimate goal and the perfection and the purpose of our life.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So, So to summarize, we spoke about balancing 3 things, right? So if we understand that sometimes balancing, we need to make a conscious choice. That's what is called dynamic. Some days you have to make this more, this less, based on the situation surrounded you. If all is well, our focus should always give importance to the spirituality, because that is what is eternal, that is what is everlasting. Rest of the things, they are temporary. The spiritual benefits we receive, it is permanent. So in summary, if we have to say, there are 3 balances we need to strike. First one is physical balance, second one is mental balance, third one is spiritual balance. But interestingly, as Krishna said, if you take care of the spiritual balance, you don't have to worry about mental balance. Does that make sense? If you are regularly chanting, coming to temple and taking association, regularly reading and regularly performing seva, your mind will be so perfectly engaged, perfectly controlled. You don't need to worry, you don't need to do separate endeavor for mental balance. Does that make sense, what I'm trying to say? Because you are doing, as Krishna said, abhyasena, you are doing suitable practice, and vairagyena, there are several things you are giving up to make it easy. Okay, fine. All right. So, any questions so far? So that is our responsibility to keep it easy and smooth so that all these aspects are taken care. We are not denying physical balance is not, physical balance is not important. That is also important. But what is most important is spiritual balance. So when you take care of the spiritual balance and do a little bit of the, physical balance, everything else is taken care, and we can be successful even in this very life, as Prabhupada says. Okay. Any questions or comments? I'm sorry, it is already late. So if no question, we can wind up. You're... yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, can you put WhatsApp? Vaishnava Sangha, I think it's posted, right? So, yes, Prabhuji.
वैष्णव संघ भेजा अपने वीडियो.
It is there, I believe. Vaishnava Sangha. Prabhuji posted it. Dilsha Prabhuji posted it. Next one.
So it's some
There only. About that one.
it's not going.
Okay. Was the internet?
पर डाला है
YouTube.
YouTube.
So I think you will be coming in 2 weeks now, next week will be later. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, celebrating 3 days actually. And I think like the city is celebrating, so Tuesday should have no perseverance there. So this comes as from selling once a year. Is, you know, if you're here regularly, you're already considered of the sea, very good so much. One day the first 3 days, I want to encourage and I request you to follow this to your friends. You know, every year you
आवाज नहीं
should
आएगा
go.
प्रभु.
Presidents, like, what is the happiness? People are creating this.
आपका फोन.
What is the happiness? People are people are doing stable and people are considered like nothing on the side of government. That's all. So, over time, everyone was my question is not for people. We want them to get the best aid. And what is the issue? It's easy to handle things, you know. But you know, when the blessing goes in the life, we'll be able to be in the life.
Sound will not come back.
So, sure.
Yeah, Prabhuji. 1 minute, Prabhuji. Yes.
Second thing is we have so many flyers.
Prabhuji, वैष्णव संघ में भेजा है. Yeah, found it. I found it.
Actually, if you want, I can get it very good pay. So we also have flyers. If you are willing to participate in it, but if you are willing to take it and give it in the international, somebody said separation. It's all voluntary. Yeah, but at least you know, yes. So if people can register, if you want to do service, you can register that way, you know. Service. Okay, what service you want to do? Yes, the service. So, search and how many you show the video in your service will be? How many are willing to distribute the players in your subdivision? And the players, you know, from your end.
So activity.